hit the picture before you post it. Otherwise, they'll just post a fucking link.
All right, welcome to the Full Grown Pizza Podcast. This is episode 35, and we are going to be talking about the Baltic Sea Anomaly in this episode. The Baltic Sea Anomaly is one of the most puzzling underwater discoveries of the 21st century. One thing that's cool about this one is it's actually kind of modern. It actually happened in 2011. So we're not talking about some like really far back in the freaking 50s or 60s or even back in medieval times or whatever. Like this is fairly recent and it's got some interesting evidence supporting it as well. So essentially what it is there was a Swedish commercial diving team that they are, for all intents and purposes, they're treasure hunters or treasure seekers, and they were looking for sunken shipwrecks. And what they found was something completely unexpected. And that's what we're going to get to in today's episode. So make sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button. Leave a comment down below as we go along. Join the conversation. If you've got some furry friends and some little doggos, make sure to check out Ugly Chews in the right corner of the screen. We've got a link over with them if you want to save some money and check out some all-natural dog treats. So before we get started, again, hit that subscribe button, share the episode with your friends and your family and your business associates and anyone else you could think of. And let's get into it. So, the Baltic Sea
friends.
Anomaly. Yep. And your furry friends with your doggos.
People who are into furries.
Well, them too. Them too.
You said that.
That's like, not what
he has to do with furries.
That's not what's going through my mind. But those people too. Like we don't discriminate in our audience.
Furry friends, scaly fans,
join the party.
Whatever fetish they're into.
Whatever.
Join the party.
Well, skelly friends. I don't.
Especially if they're into aliens and paranormal crap, monster.
Yeah,
lovers.
Spirits.
Yeah.
Yep. Spirits and ghosts, aliens, everybody. You're all welcome here. Except for maybe the Men in Black. I don't know. We're not on good terms with them. They've canceled our podcast a few times. No.
Still on passports.
Yeah. Okay, so like I said, the Baltic Sea Anomaly, this was discovered in June of 2011 by an organization called Ocean X, which is a Swedish commercial diving team. And instead of finding some treasure, they found something completely different. So what they found... Yep, Ocean X. What they found...
That sounds like they made in the 90s.
Yeah, probably. I mean, yeah, that back when X was like the edgy, cool thing to like everybody did. Right, exactly. So
Extreme Motion was already taken, so they went Ocean X.
Ocean Adventure, yeah.
X-Force.
Yeah, we're like X Games. We're badass and extreme, like yeah.
Extreme ocean diving.
So
Ocean X.
Essentially, what they uncovered, what they found while they were searching for sunken treasure was they found a 70-meter, which is about 230 feet wide, disc-shaped object sitting about 300 feet below the Baltic Sea. So, and this object kind of resembled almost the Millennium Falcon, like from Star Wars. Like we've got like a picture comparison. Like you can kind of see it's got like a similar shape to the Millennium Falcon, which is kind of interesting. It's like, okay, what is Han Solo doing on our planet, and what's going on here? So, anyways, resembles kind of the Millennium Falcon. Definitely looks like some kind of ship or UFO or something that you would expect. One thing that's interesting about it too is that there's more to it than that. There's more kind of stuff they discovered with the sonar that kind of lends to the idea that this was some kind of crashed object or something like that. And so some of the questions that we're going to address here is, okay, what is this thing? I mean, there's ideas that this is a natural geological kind of thing. There's, is this a part of an ancient civilization potentially. You know, we've talked about Atlantis and stuff on the show. We've talked about, lost civilizations and things like that. Could it be something like that? Or is this a crashed UFO? Or is this something from, another planet or another time? Or
Yeah.
so who knows? So we're going to kind of talk about the different, um, kind of theories that there are about this. So let's get into it. There was, first of all, Ocean X. We'll talk a little bit about them. And they are this is one of the leaders, I guess. This is the team that went and found this, the Baltic Sea Anomaly, was led by a guy named Peter Lindbergh. This is a picture of Peter Lindbergh right here. And also a guy named Dennis Asberg. So that's him. Dennis Asberg, Peter Lindbergh. And they specialized in finding shipwrecks and lost artifacts and, underwater type things, finds and whatnot. And so what's actually cool about them, when I was doing some research into them, and you can see this is the initial press release. They on their website, they've got this initial press release is dated August 9th of 2011, where they were talking about this, about what they discovered and what they found. And so you can see that, you got what they found on the Baltic Sea, between Sweden and Finland, sunken treasures, very unusual image, and sonar. And so you can kind of read like what they wrote to the media back in that day. And another cool thing about Ocean X that I discovered when I was looking into these guys is that they're still doing stuff to this day. Like, they're still active. They actually had a press release come out yesterday, which is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday, about an expedition that they're starting called the Panama Project. And I didn't look too much into this, but I just thought it was cool that's like, wow, these explorer guys are still out there doing stuff. We don't really think about explorers in the modern age. We think about, we've already discovered a lot of things and whatnot. So you don't really think about these modern day explorers. And so, I just thought it was really cool. These guys are out there. They're still doing stuff. And there is, still stuff out there to be discovered. And there's not a lot of groups that are pursuing that nowadays, at least so it seems. So wanted to talk about them for just a little bit, like that. And again, they found, using sonar scans, this massive circular object, and it was separate from the sea floor. So they found, we'll pull up some more pictures here in a second. So this is kind of one of the sonar pictures I'll pull up here. It's kind of dark. It's like this dark blue, like sonar, whatever, but it's a little bit closer of a picture than the other one we were looking at with the Millennium Falcon. So you can kind of see this, what the structure looks like. And in addition to that, there is this, I'll zoom in a little bit. You can see the seabed track. So there's like a 300-meter track that kind of goes, that almost leads, looks like it crashed. It's some kind of crashed object that like skid across the floor. It's a 900-foot long skid mark. And again, it kind of looks like something had crashed or maybe moved or something. At some point it shifted, and that's a long, measurement too. Like, it moved a lot. You'd think it had some speed to it. It had some momentum. It wasn't just like shifted. But you can also see,
sunk or something.
Right. So yeah, you can kind of see like something's up with this. It's not just some geological structure that just has been sitting there stationary, over time. So there's a bit more to it. There's also kind of like a similar, like, second structure that's hard to see. I was trying to figure out which part exactly it is in some of these pictures, but I think if you look at the bottom left of the picture, you can kind of see, it almost looks like there's a ramp that goes up on the left side of the thing, and it kind of looks like a staircase a little bit, if you guys can tell. Like, I'll try to zoom in just a little on it, but Almost looks like a staircase right there in the far left side.
Oh yeah, I see it.
And so that was another interesting kind of thing that they discovered with this sonar technology. So they're wondering, what is this thing? What did they discover? It looks like the Millennium Falcon. It seems to have moved and shifted. So so what is this thing? So they start getting closer to it. They start to investigate, and what's crazy is their electronics actually started to fail mysteriously. Yeah, so their sonar started going out, cameras, lights, everything started to shut down, and so they even had divers trying to get closer to it. These divers reported strange,
What's
some
an
kind of
aluminum Falcon?
yeah. So they reported even some kind of strange energy field
Oh,
or
it has
some
ghosts too, so it's haunted.
yeah. So it's haunted, ghosts, paranormal, aliens, all the above.
Oh,
This
The
that's
is
whole works.
this is like where they all gather and
Good
conglomerate
place,
into.
Nobody will look for there.
It's a nice place. I mean, if you ever been to the Baltic Sea, it's really no, just kidding. I've never been there, but
It's like, what was it? A lost city? Is it a
I don't.
airship?
That's the
Is
thing.
it a lost? Is it a graveyard?
Is it all of the above? I mean, in previous episodes we talked about the whole freaking what was that, like the Who, or what was that giant mothership that came down into the ocean? Do you remember
The
that
island
episode?
size?
Yeah, the island-sized
Island?
mothership. I mean, what if it's
Continent-sized mothership?
yeah, what if it's something like that? I mean, what if it's a
How big is it? It's 60 meters, you said?
I mean, it's not right. Well, let me pull up
23
the
meters. 23
70
wonder how
meters,
much it
70
is,
meters,
like,
so about 230
how
feet. So,
buried it
so
is.
not that big, but what if it's a comparable type of thing, right? Like, what if it's
Yeah.
a ship where, yeah, there was actually a colony of people that were, living here or living on this thing. Um, and so, yeah, one of the crazy things is that, yeah, as they got closer to it, their electronics started to mess up. And some of the team members, they even hinted that there were things that they couldn't talk about. And so there's all these like, okay, is there some kind of cover up? Did the government get involved with this? I mean, how deep does this really go? And
I wonder
so
why they couldn't talk about it. I mean,
I don't
what
know,
are they
but
trying
then
to hide?
obviously you have the question of, okay, are you guys just hyping this thing up? Like, are you, are you just feeding into the controversy and the mystery? And so I don't know, because there are some documentaries and stuff out about this, and so it's hard to say. Plus, they're treasure hunters, so
Yeah.
they're looking for that kind of attention.
Yeah, they're trying to make a nut. They're like, hey, that kind of looks like the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
So
what if we say it
hey
was?
guys, woo, let's make a shirt or something. Yeah, totally. So yeah, they've basically, with the sonar imagery and the structural analysis that they did, they, it looks pretty circular, which is kind of interesting. You don't see that like typically in a lot of, natural features.
Stuff, yeah.
They also said that it had some kind of raised dome-like features in the image. I don't really see that myself when I look at these, but it's hard to say. Like there's
They're
some
looking from above.
right. We're looking from above. We don't really have a good angle on it, so it's hard to say. Plus, there's some parts that look like it's raised a little bit, and who knows? Maybe that could be like a dome type of covering type of thing. But yeah, we talked about the staircase on the side. It looks like it's leading up. I'll go back to that picture real quick because I think it's easier to see on this one. And the skid mark, which kind of leads to this kind of crashed sort of idea that this is a crashed object. Some suggest that that it landed.
Picture, right?
Yeah, that it landed from above. Others propose that there's some kind of like glacial movement over thousands of years, and that's what's causing this sort of like skid mark. But I mean, I don't know. It's hard because you can think, how long has this thing been there? Because if it's been there for a long time, then sure, maybe it could have skid all the way across. But at the same time, if it hasn't, then based on the time period, I would think that there was some kind of movement or inertia that caused it to keep moving that way. So some of the theories about the Baltic Sea anomaly, you've got this natural formation theory right? You've got this is the skeptical kind of perspective.
Yeah.
Geologists and stuff, they say that this is some kind of glacial ice deposit that geologists claim that the Baltic Sea anomaly, it's a rock formation shaped by glacial movement. Other options are this some kind of volcanic rock or something, like maybe like a volcano or something, or has
Problem I have with
volcanic.
that natural thing is like nature doesn't tend to do right angles, and there's like at least 5 in that picture.
Uh, Mr. Pupple is wondering what is a Millennium Falcon. Give me a second, I will show you. I will present to you the Millennium Falcon.
I thought they were just quoting Robot Chicken, but
Oh, maybe. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. Anyways, Millennium Falcon, Star Wars spaceship. You see the resemblance. It actually looks so much like it that it's almost like it's kind of unbelievable, honestly. I'm like, okay, did George Lucas come down there with you guys? Like, did he come up with this shit? Anyways, it's crazy.
Sit on this for fucking 40 years.
Yeah,
And you guys can
exactly.
talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, yeah, once 40 years are over, you have permission. I don't know what's going to happen with the Star Wars movies, so here you go. And they're like, sweet, perfect, let's do it. And so,
the Millennium Falcon, anyways.
Yeah. So, okay, so yeah, the other option is this volcanic rock kind of theory. So the samples, they actually did retrieve some samples from the area, and the samples contained iron and manganese and titanium, and so these are kind of materials that lead to this volcanic origins kind of theory. But what's the counter argument to that is that the Baltic Sea has no volcanic activity. So it's like, okay, how do you explain that then? Right.
No activity now.
Right.
But it's really, really old.
Oh, you know what? I didn't have the pictures pulled up. I didn't have the proper scene pulled up when I was talking about the Millennium Falcon. But,
I was wondering, like, how late is this
whoops,
fucking feed?
Whoops. No, that was my bad. I thought I had it pulled up. But yeah, so here's the Millennium Falcon. The Star Wars ship. You can see it. It looks almost exactly like it. From like, you've got the teeth in the middle with the thing on the side too. It's like, yeah, it looks a lot very similar.
Yeah, there's the cockpit. That's what the ramp is.
Yep, the cockpit, and yep, exactly. So, kind of weird, but maybe George Lucas was onto something. Maybe he knew what an actual spaceship looked like, or it came to him in a dream or something.
Maybe this extreme people just dropped one of their fucking Millennium Falcon models into the ocean and used a scanner to scan it.
And then they scanned it.
Like, look
oh
at
my
this
God.
rock formation. This thing is humongous.
Right, and they were actually just like really close up to it, and they were like, relatively speaking, it would be, if we blew up my little model toy up to be this big, I mean, that's what it would look like.
I mean, did they tell anybody where it was? Did anybody go look at this?
I mean,
somebody who actually has like a submarine. They were like, why isn't James Cameron looking at this?
That's what I always wonder that. I always wonder that when we're talking about these theories, like, why are there people not looking into this shit more? And like, why don't we just answer the question? Like, why don't we just say once and for all, like, this is what happened? Not just some theories, not whatever. Like, just disprove them, seriously. Why don't we just have a scientific crew go and say, you know what? It is unequivocally this, or, there's...
Yeah, I like when
I don't get it.
Prove crap like this.
Yeah. So, but yeah, here's that map again. This is the Botnia Gulf, and you can kind of see it's like right and smack in the middle of the Baltic Sea between Sweden and Finland, where they discovered this. And so we'll go back to where we were.
Finland has some crazy lore, so it might be real.
Yeah, it might be. But another theory, so we talked about kind of the natural skeptical theory, but the next one is this some kind of ancient civilization? Is this, a remnant of some ancient civilization or man-made structure that's been around for, who knows how long? I mean, what do you guys think about that?
How long that sea's been around, maybe it's like happened before the Ice Age, before all the glaciers melted, and maybe that was like dry land by then,
Right. Yeah, that's
Apparently, how
true.
the Mediterranean Sea was supposed to have formed after the glaciers melted. Because
Global warming.
so who knows? Maybe it's an old temple or something like that. You know, maybe that's why the ramp is there or something like that. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
been there for a
and
very long time.
so I mean, we've talked about Atlantis and stuff, and how that kind of ties into our grand theory of, you know, the Atlanteans kind of being this technologically advanced society that was meant to harvest this rare mineral of orichalcum and
Yeah,
to create these dark pyramids and things like that and harness the energy and whatnot. We've talked about how the ley lines are kind of, energy lines that could be used for travel or some kind of fast travel or whatever. It makes me
See,
wonder
what I
that
see is like you have this ramp, right?
mm-hmm.
That's where you transfer all the goods, and there's a platform where you store it, and that little end cap there, that looks like where you back up your trailer to fucking
That's
load that
exactly what
truck
I
up.
think. It looks like a loading dock, doesn't it?
It's
Like,
loading dock.
yeah.
but so the thing that
Even
comes
if it
to
was like barely like it's up to water, that can still be a dock.
yeah. And so what comes to my mind is, I mean, this was going on, this could have been submerged for, 10,000 plus years around the time of the Atlanteans. And if that's the case, like, why would we expect the Atlanteans to stay in one spot? I mean, if their goal is to harvest orichalcum, if their goal is to, create these dark pyramids or help do these kinds of things, why would they just stay in one spot? Why would Atlantis just be in
Apparently,
one
like
spot?
orichalcum grows in very shallow areas
It seems like
because
it,
all
yeah.
their places seem to be going underwater.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely underwater. It's an
Yeah.
underwater thing. And so maybe this is some kind of transporter ship, or maybe this is like it hauls orichalcum
Like
or it
loading dock.
hauls material.
Loading
And
dock.
hey, you know what? That might explain it, where if you've got, this is what hauled the orichalcum, and they're having all kinds of electromagnetic issues with their devices and things as they get closer to it. Maybe there's some kind of
Orichalcum for you.
yeah, maybe there's some kind of remnants there.
There
Who
must be a lot
knows?
of orichalcum in the Bermuda Triangle.
Maybe it's just the tip of something that's much bit deeper, like a black pyramid been buried for a long time and just got covered up by sand. That's why it's emitting energy that messes
That
with
doesn't look
electronics
like
and
a
stuff like that.
pyramid at all.
Yeah,
Pyramids are
The top of it got
square,
destroyed by
not
erosion and stuff like that, but it could be very, very old. Maybe one of the first ones.
right.
It is
Exactly.
like
Especially if it was
city,
above
but
land at
everything
one
else
time.
Right.
Above the ocean.
And so another
Did you
thing
check
that's
the
kind
ley
of
lines around
interesting.
there, see if there's anything kind of connecting to it.
No, I didn't. I didn't pull up a ley line
map them
map.
ley lines. Go do
I
it.
didn't really think about
Yeah.
it until we've been talking about it. So
He didn't do his research out today.
no, it's just as
Kinda
we
weird
talk
how it's,
about it,
directly in the middle of it too.
as we talk through things come to mind. So
Let's see if ley lines cross right over it. Then we have a
we'll have
working
to
theory.
find. Yeah, let me find the picture. I can probably pull it up.
Find it.
Let's
Do it
see.
live. Fuck it, we'll do it live, people.
Yep, we'll do it live. I'll find it. Okay. So we had what episode was that? What episode was that called when we did just ley lines?
Easter Island.
Ley lines.
Unless you're just gonna go look for Google some ley line
Oh,
maps.
here we go. Yeah, ley line map. I've got it. I got it pulled up. Let me see if I can open it up in like Chrome or something. Let's see.
Actually, on this, the ley lines of Earth, that one we have, this has a ley line that goes right across that sea, right in the middle, right where that pyramid is, or that.
Only one? Usually it's when they intersect that we.
Yeah, usually, but maybe they're trying.
But as long as it's on the system, which leans to the thing that ley lines are like traveling things, so that's probably like a truck stop.
Yeah, but that one in Alaska, the first dark pyramid we talked about, only has one line to it going too. But
okay, so let's look at this real quick. Here's our ley line map that we pulled up. It's obviously gonna be really blown out of proportion because I can't zoom in any further than that. But you kind of can see up at the top, the top middle of the screen. You can see where
that's between exactly where that thing
that's
is.
almost exactly where it is. So that's kind of
Interesting.
interesting to bring up. Yeah, huh.
So the
So,
question is there something in the water in the ley lines between Sweden and the UK?
I mean, that's kind of what it looks like right there. I wish I could show you my cursor. Maybe there's probably some kind of setting I could turn that on, but I mean, it appears to be that way. Let
What's
me
in the
do
middle of the
capture
Atlantic Ocean,
cursor.
right, where all those ones are
Oh
converging
crap!
besides the Dark
Atlantis.
Pyramid? There's also one in Egypt, which is funny. What's the
Hmm.
best way to hide a Dark Pyramid? Put a regular pyramid over it.
Right, right. Well, okay. In my attempt
Or
to
they made the pyramids because they had the Dark Pyramids, and they're like, oh, that brings power and stuff. Let's make our own.
right.
But they're like, oh, we just have sandstone. That might work.
Well, they do have theories that the Great Pyramid was a power station, so maybe it did at one time.
Hmm.
It's also like how they had some crazy technology. They had the battery there also,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
I said those like obelisks were like transfer stations for the pyramid that they like transferred energy down to.
Yeah.
So they have so many obelisks in Egypt too.
Right. And another thing that was interesting that came up in my research on this is that there actually is like a kind of a Scandinavian sort of like I guess rune stones. There's ancient Scandinavian rune stones that talk about gods that came from the sea, and
Huh.
obviously it's kind of in that area, the Baltic
Yeah.
Sea. So who knows? Maybe this could have had something to do with that as well. Um, and so I don't know. It's a possibility. And um, man, I screwed up our picture thing. Like it messed up my
uh,
thingy for some reason. So let me see if I can get that back up and running real quick.
what are ley lines?
And
There's stuff to look at in America.
because I don't know why it did what it did or what it actually did. So let me try and figure this out. There we go.
Crazy.
Okay, so we're back on our pictures again. Good. Cool. So yeah, that was an option too. That kind of leads to the ancient civilization theory, or maybe even UFOs or aliens, because when we're talking about gods who came from the sea, who knows? Maybe it's more advanced people that they're familiar with, or maybe it's something from another world.
Yeah.
Um, but then we can also get into the obvious theory of the crashed UFO, which also makes a lot of sense when we're looking at this seabed track, 300 meters, and this big structure that kind of looks like a spaceship that we're familiar with
Mm-hmm.
from like movies and popular shows. It's 60 meters. So, some people speculate this could have been here for tens of thousands of years. And if it is extraterrestrial, that would kind of explain some of the secrecy behind it, or why,
Yeah.
we're
And why
not
the
learning
equipment fails when they
more.
try to get too close to it.
Yeah, the equipment failure. I mean, that's a common thing when people are encountering these UFOs.
Yeah.
And like we just had an episode, what, a couple weeks ago, where we were talking about the Tic Tac incident and how they were trying to like monitor this thing and it was messing with their equipment. And
Yeah.
this is like a common thing that happens when you're encountering UFOs. So it's kind of would make sense if it's similar,
Yeah. A lot of
similar
like
sort of deal.
abduction encounters. They have like cars that fail and watches that stop at the same time if
Yep,
they get
and
close to the UFO
messing
and
with
stuff like that.
lights and electronics and things like that. Um, and then obviously the resemblance of it looking like a craft too, um, kind of leads to that as
Oh,
well.
that's
Um,
interesting.
what's that?
I'm looking at the ley lines, and there's a cross section of ley lines in America right over DC, where they have those obelisks all over the place.
Oh wow.
It's just like, oh,
It is kind of strange. The more you look at the ley line stuff and you look at these different paranormal things and you see that there's usually a ley line that crosses somewhere near these things. It's kind of crazy, actually. It's like, wow, how is it so accurate sometimes? I
Yeah.
mean, it's not exact, I guess, but man, it's really close a lot of times.
Hmm.
It's pretty wild. Um, and
There's a
so
major center point in Mexico.
that's where the pinata aliens came from.
Yeah, that's true. I've seen some like the water part that's next under California.
Yeah, yeah.
That little part, yeah. It's
Um,
always in water.
so kind of going off the whole alien idea, I mean, what if this is like a alien base, you know? What if this
Yeah.
is some kind of facility that they used? Um, UFO hotspots kind of correlate with these USO hotspots, which are like unidentified submerged objects. I mean, we talked about with the whole Tic Tac thing where things were under the water and coming up from the water.
Yeah.
And so it's not entirely out of the question for this idea that these aliens are coming up and out of the water and going back into the water, and this is how they're moving around and how they're operating on our planet. And
Yeah.
so it could be something like that just no longer functional or whatever.
Yeah, old station that got shut down or not used anymore. They just left the lights on in case they had to come back or something.
Yep, exactly. And so there's also, I guess, been reports of glowing lights under the water in the Baltic Sea, and that's been occurring for decades. Um, and then also this electromagnetic interference kind of adds to that idea of the whole alien sort of deal. There's another aspect to this which is kind of military related, which is some people believe that the Swedish or the Russian military actually investigated this secretly, that they've been investigating it, but no one said anything about it. Like we said, I mean, isn't it kind of strange that, oh, we get this crazy sonar like imagery and stuff, and then that's it? Like we don't like we
Yeah.
don't do any more with it. I mean,
Yeah, it's just cool.
it would make sense to me if they were like, oh, let's look into this more, and then somebody came up and they're like, nope, we're taking it from here. Like, step back. Like that would make more sense to me. And then they profit off this whole mystery behind it, and they profit off of the they can run with that, and I'm sure they probably would have accepted some kind of money or some kind of something to keep
Yeah.
things, to stop investigating it, right? That would make sense to me. And so anyway, some people believe that, yeah, the Swedish and Russian military have been investigating this, and that the object might be some kind of classified weapon or some kind of experimental technology or something that is not meant to be known. And so, yeah, that's a possibility. And we've always had that question of, okay, what if we know something about it? It's likely the government knows more about it, right?
Yeah.
It's likely there's more that they know that we haven't been told, that they're not disclosing, or that they're not presenting to us. So
Why won't they tell us?
because we're not worthy, we're not cool enough, we're just peasants.
We are peasants. I hate it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Stupid elites.
yeah. So the most mysterious about this whole thing is obviously the electronic interference, which is, regardless of what you think, if this is a natural, phenomenon, which this is like volcanic, or this is a, glacier
would
or
it
something
interfere
like
with
that, it
electronics,
wouldn't have electronics. If
Just
this
a
is
big
some
rock, it's
kind
not
of,
going to do anything.
even if it's ancient civilization, it's like, okay, why would it have this electronic, whatever aspect to it? So it kind of leads
like
to
someone built that with rocks or something a long time ago. It's not going to interfere with electronics. So
right. Plus, this is a common sort of occurrence when we're talking about UFO encounters, and
What I was gonna say like before is like it looks like it's made with rocks and it's like all electronic things, but if it's just sonar pictures, it doesn't mean that it's just rocks. Probably it's metal,
yeah, it could be. Yeah, right. We don't
or it could be
necessarily
plastic
know.
because it's a model of somebody. popped in the bottom ocean and scanned. And like, look, a Millennium
Could
Falcon.
be plastic. Yeah, exactly. It could be fake. Could be totally fake.
Not a lot of detail in that picture because it's a sonar image.
That's why nobody's found it, because it's so tiny, fucking small. Oh, this thing's humongous. They're looking for this humongous thing, not this thing that's fucking only like 2 feet long.
Yeah. So the Ocean X people, they're saying that their sonar readings would start to fade out as the ships would like hover directly over it, and that some of their devices would just completely stop functioning.
Yeah.
And
That's why the camera never worked.
right, and so it makes it difficult, but it's also like, okay, is that just your excuse for like not having more?
Guess why our submarine with the camera that can
exactly.
actually take a good picture of it doesn't work, and we can't get real pictures of it?
That's
You
always
just gotta
what
trust
I'm.
our sonar.
That's always what I'm thinking with like the Ghost Adventures or like the freaking paranormal crews, ghost hunters that go out there. There's like, oh, our stuff just stopped working.
To be honest,
like,
as soon as
our
you said
camera
that,
quality's
treasure
terrible.
hunters,
like it's like
I kind of zoned out. I was like, treasure hunters, that they fucking would definitely fucking.
well, and that's
make
what you would think,
a scam
because
picture.
right, you don't think about treasure hunters as like this legitimate business venture. It's like
They're not looking just for gold; they're looking for fame. And
yeah,
they can just look
exactly.
at, like,
They want the
faking
fame,
something.
they want the excitement, they want all that stuff along with
The
it.
same thing with the ghost hunters. Most of those guys just fake that shit.
Exactly, yeah. Yep. So
Or
there's
all of them.
definitely some incentives there that kind of make things a little suspicious.
So hard to believe ghost videos anymore.
But like we talked about, I mean, why hasn't there been a full investigation on this? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why
Just
haven't
the
there been?
military's keeping them out,
Ocean X.
My thing is that because it looks like the Millennium Falcon, so people will just blow it off.
I mean,
It'd be like if they feel, hey, this looks like Kermit the Frog. They're like, okay, so what?
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing with Ocean X is they're saying that. Well, I don't know if they're actually saying this, but I guess kind of the argument for them is that they're just a privately funded operation. Like they don't have all the resources. Plus, they're treasure hunters. They're not really like scientific researchers. So they don't have necessarily all the equipment needed to figure out what the hell this actually is.
There's obviously orichalcum down there, and they should be going at it.
I know. So they can't do like this more in-depth excavation that, is expected from people. But there's also the idea of, okay, did the government intervene? Did they get involved and say, hey, you can't do any more research on this? Or maybe they suppressed further research, Maybe there is more research out there, but this is classified or being hidden to prevent public panic or whatever. I mean, you got to think too, it's right smack in the middle of two different countries, and what happens, what kind of foreign policy issues and what's going to be kind of the impact of, oh, hey, there's a big ship like in the middle of your your two countries. And
maritime.
And if it was a UFO, I mean, it probably has some kind of technology if this like military went down there. So who gets to control that technology?
Yeah, who gets it? Who gets to manage the project? Who gets to use the resources? I mean, how do you
back engineer it, make some new kind of technology?
How do you divvy
political red tape keeping us back from our next tier of technology? God damn it!
I know, it's always that. Dang it! No, just
we need to upgrade our technology tree, guys. You could have like teleportation unlocked or fucking AI interface in our brains.
But at the same time, I'm sure there are instances where, multiple countries will come together and they'll just say, hey, we're going to hire this organization to investigate this thing for us. And they're being paid on behalf of,
honestly, it's
a couple different governments.
Sweden and Finland, they're pretty like lax, right? They can just be like, hey,
I would
think, you want to help me look for this? Okay.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah.
You stay out of it, Sweden.
Right. So, I don't know. I mean, that's always the question that gets me is like, why don't we just have some group once and for all, just go down, figure out what the hell it is, and just tell everybody so we can quit focusing on it. And we don't have to think about it. Just get it out of the way. Like we need
Yeah.
a company that is just a company that their mission is to solve mysteries. We need freaking Scooby and the gang back, and they just
Yeah.
need to go out and tell us the freaking answers so we don't have to do shit like this anymore. And like we can just
Bring that up
let
to
it
Elon
go.
Musk. He'd be like, Mystery Inc. I'll do that.
For real, seriously. Elon Musk needs to just
Let me genetically engineer a talking dog first.
he
Then we
needs
can
to
do
set
this.
up a corporation. Exactly. A dog with Neuralink in it or something.
Yeah, so they talk to us, you know.
And just he needs to
It's not
set
the
up
bad
an
guys,
organization that is like Mystery Inc. or whatever, and it's basically just this empty shell organization that figures out, okay, what are we going to tackle next, and then they contract hire everybody they need to solve this mystery. And then once everybody's done, they paid them all off, and they figure out what's the next mystery. Contract hire everybody.
Yeah, it'd be like Project Blue Book, but
Exactly.
mysteries.
We just need to do
And
that.
everybody gets the information, not just fucking
Yeah,
government hide away.
public. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you got 2 employees right here. I mean,
exactly. Like, hey,
I don't know
I'm
about Michael.
down.
Maybe he's up for it.
I would
yeah, I'll
join.
go for it.
I want to
And I'm
explore.
a-
I was talking about you. I was talking about you and me. We already been talking about this.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, like, I remember when I was a teenager watching Monster Quest and stuff on the History Channel and just being like, how do I become a Bigfoot, like, researcher guy? Like, I want to do that. Like, what the hell? That would be cool. Yeah,
That'd
so...
be cool. 'Cause from the videos I saw, yeah, did I ever tell you about the special forces in Washington State? What their
No.
sergeant told them before they fucking went out into the woods.
Yeah, watch out for Bigfoot and
Like
Bigfoot
Bigfoot is real,
yeah.
and he will fucking kill you. Do not
Yeah.
try to engage.
I do remember that. Yeah,
So,
I mean, I was
you really want to go hunting Bigfoot now?
I was a teenager at the time. I was mostly
Yeah.
interested in, like, I want to go find these monsters and stuff.
You're
like,
thinking about like Harry and the Hendersons,
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways,
But
I'm
that's evidence
surprised.
if we go out in the forest and somebody dies, and
I'm surprised there's not more like
Yeah.
billionaires.
I'm surprised we don't talk
doing
about
that.
more like forest ranger stories because they always have crazy stories.
Oh yeah, we could definitely do
Apparently,
that.
the forest is really crazy still.
Well, yeah, it's dark and spooky, and there's no civilization. It's like, yeah, I guess
That's where like some drug people like to grow their
that's
drugs.
true. Yeah, that's
And they like
true.
to like hang like fishing lines in the trees so people just walk into them.
Ooh, creepy. Yeah. So how do you guys think that this Baltic Sea anomaly ties into our greater full-grown pizza conspiracy
I already said
theory?
this. It's on the ley line, so it's probably part of the transport system. So it's
maybe
like
an old
like a way station
dark
like on a highway
Yeah,
where they, like plus what you said like it seems like orichalcum likes to grow in shallow water areas, and that's
Mhm.
why most of the places that seem to harvest it seem to disappear under the water.
Yeah.
So it might have been like an orichalcum,
so maybe it's part of
Mine.
like the seabed or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
or maybe it's like a type of coral rock mixture type thing.
Right. Well, I mean that comes to my mind too, is like maybe this was some kind of transport. Like I almost think of like a train, right? Or like some kind of
Yeah.
tram or like a something where it's like, okay, load up all the
That's always what I picture when
orichalcum,
you're talking about the ley line, just like the
Yeah.
fucking bullet train riding on the ley line.
and then it just travels along down the path, and it's like, okay.
But that's why I think to connect it to our dark pyramid, which is basically the bedrock, the whole entire conspiracy theory that we're building up.
It is interesting that it's on the ley line almost exactly though.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because you would think that if it was some kind of tram or some kind of like transport thing or whatever, then it would stay on the ley line, and it would make sense that it stopped,
Now the thing is
on
like
the
I
ley
want to get
line.
this like ley line map and see where all these intersections are and see if there's any stories that happen around those areas.
We almost need to create our own ley line map. Yeah.
Because we have one where there's like the 3 thing intersection that happened in England that we were talking about.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That one fort that had that weird anomaly going on.
Yeah.
So it's just like, yeah, I saw there's one in Mexico, there's one in Australia. It's like, is there anything crazy going on in this intersection? Is there anything crazy going on in this intersection? Already talked about Washington D.C. We already know there's crazy stuff going on in that intersection.
Right. Yeah, so it's I don't know, definitely weird, but it makes a lot of sense too. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so what do you guys think is the strongest and weakest theory if you had to, put money on it?
Well, it definitely looks like a UFO. I mean, it's got the shape of it, like a really old one that maybe got eroded some by the ocean or whatever. And I mean, that seems like the strongest theory because I mean, just by the shape of it. But you take the ley lines and everything else into it. And you got to consider this was above the ocean at one time, or at least in a shallow sea. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
that gives point to like, especially because of the ley line. If they wanted to put like a black pyramid or something there, then they'd have
Yeah.
a reason for it.
Well, my theory is that it
Or
does
or
look
a
like
alpha mining station.
it looks man-made to say the least because, like I said, nature doesn't usually do right angles, and there's at least like 5 of them just in that picture alone.
yeah, and that it's like
And the
a
staircase.
weird,
Mhm.
like almost a perfect circle, like if you completed it. It's kind of
Well,
crazy
nature
too.
likes circles.
Yeah,
Actually, like bubbles are spheres.
Really, really interesting to figure out
yeah,
how old it is.
yeah. I'm curious. Yeah, I would
Little
wonder.
fucking
I
mystery.
wonder
You
if
get on the case and
being in
go
the
carbon
cold.
date that thing.
I wonder if because it's in that cold area in the Baltic Sea, or if that make it harder to date because things decay slower and you know slower in the cold water and stuff like that. So
Yeah, no, I
I wonder if
wonder.
that would affect the erosion too.
Yeah, I
I
don't
heard
know.
they don't even have refrigerators up there. They just put things outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's interesting though.
Does make me wonder.
Surely we love it up there.
All right, now we need to
Uh,
contact Elon Musk and get a dive team down there and check
get
it out
seriously like.
ourselves.
No, we need to be part of his team and then go check it
Yeah,
out
that's what I'm
ourselves.
saying. He needs to make us part of the team. We'll
Just
lead
be
it.
like, hey, we've
Yes.
got a really cool idea,
You got plenty of money. You're
and
not doing anything with it.
we're
So
gonna
But in our contract, we gotta keep doing
we're gonna
still.
give you the idea,
Gotta
but you
keep
have
doing
to
these
make us a
full-grown
part
pizza
of the
episodes still.
project. Yeah, exactly. You have to. We'll be the delegators. We'll be the ones that decide. Okay, what's the next mystery
You
to
sponsor
solve?
our show, and we'll go fucking do this stuff for you.
Yeah,
Look these things up.
yeah, exactly. Um, no, so that's. I mean, that would be cool. I really hope that one day, like Elon Musk, he retires or whatever, and he's like, "All right, we're gonna solve." He's on Mars or something, and he's like, "Okay, let's go solve all the Earth mysteries now." And yeah, that'd be cool. Um, anyways, that's pretty much all I got for that episode. Um, you guys want to do some pizza tokens, chat about other stuff, or do you have
okay.
any more thoughts on the Baltic Sea anomaly?
This is really
I don't
interesting.
have any really thoughts on the Baltic Sea Anomaly, and I don't have any new pizza tokens from last week. So
Yeah, I haven't really played too many video games, and I've been
Yeah.
watching the new season of Solo Leveling. It's pretty good, but I mean, you haven't caught up to it.
No, I gotta get caught up on that one. But yeah, I guess my only update for pizza tokens is just we've been playing Path of Exile 2, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been pretty cool.
It is a fun game.
Yep.
What class are you guys doing?
I'm playing a warrior.
How do you like that?
Mm,
That's the only one class I haven't tried yet.
I like it. It's fun, but it's also kind
is
of
it because
weird.
you're black?
Yeah, that's the best part. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I like it, but it also feels strange sometimes because I feel like it's very mana intensive, at least the way
Mhm.
that I'm.
Really?
Yeah, and which seems strange for a warrior, right? Like I shouldn't
Yeah.
be.
It's body energy,
Why do my
man.
abilities cost so much mana? And it's
You need to
when
be
they're
smarter,
weapon
more
slamming
intelligent
and
stuff.
stuff. Yeah, so I need more intelligence, I guess, on my character. But
You need to be an intelligent warrior, then I kind of like
Has
a
to be a bit
oxymoron.
it's been fun though because I've built kind of like I
You
guess
need to like intelligence also because the fucking what are they called? The gems that go into your spells.
oh yeah, those jewels or whatever.
You
Yeah,
know what they're called? I was trying to ask you.
yeah, they're called jewels. Yeah, jewels.
Whatever.
Yep.
They're not just called jewels. They're called something else. But
No, they're called
anyways, yeah, you need
If,
those because like certain spells are like the blue ones require intelligence, and you gotta have a certain amount of intelligence to be able to equip them. And if you equip them and you don't have the intelligence, you're not gonna be able to use the spell. I learned
Yeah.
that the hard way.
Huh.
Mm.
I
But
haven't
it's
made it to
like
one of those slots yet, so.
but it's easy just just switch some slots around in your skill tree.
How much did getting your guys' ascendancy change your character?
Not much. This basically gives you another like a tree to build on
Oh,
too.
really?
Yeah, so I had two
I'll change
options.
Tyson's character like a whole bunch because he summons all these fucking ghosts all the fucking time.
Yeah, so I went
Yeah.
from like being just a warrior, and I was kind of building this fire route too, where I was doing like part of my physical damage was also doing fire damage, which was kind of cool, and everybody was blowing up and stuff, so I like that. But I had option between a Titan and a
Warbringer?
Warbringer, yeah. And the Titan, it didn't really seem like it did a whole lot as far as like new stuff, but it seemed really good. Like it makes all your stuff that you do have like really a lot stronger and more effective and everything. But then the Warbringer was cool because it made your totems like summon these ancestral spirits and stuff, and then you could make your totems like have more health and whatnot. And so I haven't been able to test it yet, but I got this cool support gem which augments your abilities. I got this cool one for the minions, so when they die, or well, it says when they get low life, so I don't know. I have to test it to see if it counts if they die or they expire, if that counts. But essentially, when they get to low life, they're supposed to explode, doing fire damage. And I was like, that's cool because I already have a bunch of extra fire damage and stuff. So, I don't know, but I think that was cool. So I picked the Warbringer just because it was different and I wanted to see what it was like to have those little minion guys. And it's been fun. It's been fun so far.
Strange, don't get a lot of warrior classes that have minions.
I'm hoping that at some point gold becomes not much of an issue because
Like
I mean
a
I've got
barbarian.
yeah, I've got tons of money right now, but at the same time at some point when I understand the game better, I want to just do a full respec. And I know that's going to cost a ton of money, a ton of gold, because obviously the more you level up, the more points you have and the more you have to refund. So
And I told them to wait until they actually release all the weapons, then do that.
yeah,
When
that's
are they
true
supposed to
too.
release all the weapons, do you know?
I don't know.
When they release the game, I would think, but
Yeah.
When does it actually
I
come
tried
out?
to Google it, but I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, I
Do you
mean,
know the actual release date of PoE 2?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think the early access hasn't been out for very long, I don't think. So I mean, it's probably been like a month or two, right? So
Yeah,
not too long.
2 months.
But anyways, that's what I've been playing, doing that, and it's been fun. Also playing a lot of Mario Kart on my Switch.
Mario Kart's fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep, Mario Kart's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, we should make an AI Mario Kart knockoff. AI
It's actually
Mario
funny
Kart
because
for
I
us.
did play a Mario Kart. Essentially, it's a Mario Kart knockoff, but it's a Nickelodeon kart racing game. So it's got SpongeBob and it's got like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and some other, people on there. And honestly, it's kind of wild because the game does not feel as responsive and good as Mario Kart. Like Mario Kart feels solid, like it's really fine-tuned. And then the Nickelodeon one feels very floaty and weird, like it doesn't feel right. And
Why people like Nintendo games? They're more
the controls are completely backwards, and it's like it just felt weird. But I tried that because it was on sale for like $5. But anyways, I guess we can wrap it up there. Thank you guys for.
But I didn't talk about
tuning
my
in.
character.
Oh, you want to talk about your character? We can talk about it.
Class, were you playing?
Oh, okay. Well,
what class were you playing, Joy?
I was playing mercenary, and I ascended, and it was a choice between Witch Hunter and something else because I didn't read it because I saw Witch Hunter and just like, yep. I didn't even read the skills. So I was just like, I'm Witch Hunter now.
Yeah.
But I think that it's like really changed that he has a shield now for any elements stuff like electricity, fire, and ice. that he
Oh.
protects against. That's equal to his evasion score.
Hmm.
And once that goes away, it has like a 5-second refresh. But yeah,
Oh, that's cool. So that helps you with like elemental damage and stuff.
yeah, it helps me fight witches.
That's my big problem right now. It's like, okay, I'll put in my little slot or whatever on my belt to get some more resistance on something, but I can only do that to one element at the moment. And so there's always like some element that really fucks me up, you know?
Yeah, I keep a charm for each element just in case I can switch it out.
Oh, I should keep one with me. Yeah, I put all the other ones in my stash and I just like swap them out, but yeah, I should probably keep them with me just in for when I'm actually,
Yeah,
fighting something different.
like that one boss that was with the ice. It could be like, oh, this guy's giving me a problem. I'm gonna put the ice one on so he
Yeah, 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 yeah.
fuck me over
So
so bad.
I ended up doing that for him. Yeah, which worked out. But that's also the hard part is, man, I feel like the warrior is not really that tanky. Like, and to be fair, I didn't build along the path that was super tanky to begin with. I've put more stuff in that's tanky now,
Yeah,
but um I feel like the warrior's really squishy and they're not very mobile and they're in melee, so it's just like, man, if you get hit by something, especially if a monster has like a conal ability or it has like a shotgun kind of ability or something. I mean, if you're in melee range, you get hit by multiple of those things all at the same time. So it's like, okay, well, you're screwed. So I find myself dying a lot, which kind of sucks. But
yeah.
at the same time, I'm starting to build more tanky, and it's starting to feel better. But I am in this weird limbo spot with my build where it's like, okay, now I have these minions, and like I've got these other abilities I'm trying to incorporate, but I can't do all of it. So I don't know. It's fun though. It's fun to play around
Weird 'cause,
with
like,
and test.
last night I was in like these catacombs and there's these stupid annoying little beetles. They're so small and they're hard to hit, and they charge real fast and they have like electrical bursts, so they're super annoying.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there backpedaling trying to kill these things. And then I switched to lightning because they had like this giant mother one that just kept on spawning them, and she would
Mm.
constantly spawn them. And she had a energy shield, so I had to eat through that energy shield before I could hit her. So I switched to electricity because I have the Thunder Herald. So I did my whole electrical thing, but they're you know defensive against electricity.
Yeah.
But the thing was, I found out that I'm actually pretty tanky. I could take a lot of hits before I
Yeah.
had to fucking get the shit out of things.
I've noticed that. I feel like you have a lot of life regen or something. Do you have a lot of life regen on your items or
And I like to have at least 2 items that have uh, leech on them.
oh, leech. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, cuz I feel like I would see your health go down and then it would go back up pretty quick and I was like, "Okay. He has
Yeah,
some
unless
kind
that's
of
something like really
regen or
knocks
something."
me down hard,
Yeah.
I get healed from most everything.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like the trials because they're like, oh man.
Well, and a lot of my stuff is like life return on kill. And so if we're fighting a boss, it's like I'm not really getting much life back. And so I'm
Yeah,
starting to put more points into life regen and things like that to kind of make up for it.
that's
But
why that's why I said that's why like most of the boss battles have like little minions that they summon
yeah.
because you have to kill them and that's how you get your like mana back into your potion bottles and stuff.
Yeah, I'm really good at AoE because as I'll light them all on fire, do a really strong AoE slam that usually kills one of them, and that one blows up, does more damage to the other one, and then they all blow up and it just does a ton of damage. And so AoE feels pretty good for me. Plus I've got my shield and I can do armor breaks and stuff, so AoE feels good.
Yeah, that's like the problem with like I'm playing with Tyson is that I have a lot of survivability and he does not.
Yep.
So he'll die and I'll sit there for like an hour trying to kill things.
I
I'm like,
know.
yeah, I almost
That
got it.
that's the thing is like, yeah, we were fighting that like ice wolf boss
Yeah.
and I would die and then he would just be there like doing a tiny bit of like you'd see the health bar just like slowly like go down. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna go take my dog out, come back, he's still fighting it, and I'm just like, okay. Yeah, so but it's fun. It's been fun when we're playing together because we can kind of synergize and stuff too, and it's been cool. It's a fun game. Definitely check it out. it's at like $30 for the early access, and they actually give you stuff too, so you can.
Yeah.
I mean,
They give you like
they
in-store
give you
tokens for the
$30
30
worth
bucks
of
they
their
give to
tokens,
'em.
so it's, as far as value goes, it's free,
It's
but
basically still free. So,
yeah,
but you're just paying early access to their store, I guess.
yeah, yeah. So, anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. And if you're watching this now or later, make sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live each week. We try to go live every Wednesday around 3 p.m. Mountain Time, but we went live today on Thursday this time. So make sure to hit the notification bell so you know when we're going live. And
I'm Trump.
leave comments in the comments section. Let us know what you want us to cover for next time or what you thought about this episode. And we will see you guys next time.